Okay. Mhm. Got it. Thank you. I think we're good to go now. We're live on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging in there with me. So let me share my slides and then we can get started. Yep, we're live on YouTube. My slides. Let me know if you can see my slides. I don't think you can yet. Let me stop sharing and let me share again. Please let me know if you can see my slides. Can you see my slides? I don't think so. Something is wrong. Let me try one more time. Hmm. Yeah, I know it's not showing. I'm wondering why. It's showing on my screen here, but I don't know. Okay, yes, it's coming up now. Good. Perfect. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for staying in and waiting with me. So as much as possible, I was also giving the others some time to log in. Yeah, so we have about 10 people in the room. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. So let's get started. So today we'll be getting started. Let me get talking about because it's a hormone series, but we'll be getting started on sales territory management. Why is this important? Let's start with why it's important. It's important because as a sales representative, when you it depends on if you're new or if you're old, but as a sales representative, at some point in time, you'll be given a territory to handle. If you are in an organized, if you are in an organization that is very detailed or structured, you'll be given a territory to handle. And when you get to that territory, you're practically new. I know you'll be excited. That's for a new. I know you'll be excited, but you are new to that territory. So there's some things that you need to get. You need to know where to get started with. You need to know what to do first, so that you can optimize your time and start getting results as quick as possible. However, as an old sales representative, sometimes there might be changes in your territory that might destabilize you. I saw someone type something about rejection, constant rejection. So these are changes that happens within a territory that if you're not consistently managing and handling those changes, it might overwhelm you and you can actually get frustrated. So that's the reason why sales territory management is so important to you as a sales professional. And what is sales territory management? Basically, it's um, it's trying to create a balance between the workload that you have, that's the current, maybe the sales target you have been given, with the potential of your territory, and to get the and then a combination of also the resources and the time that's available to you to get the best possible outcome. That's what sales territory management is about. So, what some of the things that you'll be hearing in sales territory management is territory analysis, which is one thing we'll be talking about today. Um, size, three, okay, has like so territory analysis. And then you'll be hearing things like territory planning, territory management, and stuff like competitor analysis. So these are all the things you hear most times when you talk about sales territory management. You hear all this kind of terminology. So we'll be talking about some of those terminologies today and how you as a sales professional can apply some of these things to start getting results in your territory. So let me start with territory analysis. Territory analysis is basically a review of your territory, products, previous and current customers, your prospects, your competitors, and then all the additional tools and resources that you need for your sales performance to improve. So this analysis should be done every 6 to 12 months. Most times, salespeople don't do this kind of analysis, even in 2 years. You just keep selling, especially when you're an old sales professional, you just assume that it's not the same territory. What is new about my territory? I beg, let's just be selling, But territory analysis is something that you should do periodically. You should be conscious of what changes that are happening to in your territory and how it affects your sales performance. So how do you review your territory? What exactly should you be analyzing in your territory? So the first and foremost, the first thing you should analyze in your territory is you as a person, the sales professional. You could have an exceptionally have a territory that is full of potential, but if you have a salesperson with the wrong personality, let me not say wrong personality, there's no wrong personality, but with a poor personality and a poor mindset, you can actually have a poor understanding of their personality and a poor mindset. You can actually have, underperformance in a territory. So the first thing that you need to analyze as a salesperson is yourself. What are your personalities? What are your mindsets? The second thing you need to analyze in your territory, or analyze in your territory, is the territory itself, geographically. How big is my territory? Economically, how and the potentials of your territory. So basically, what kind of businesses can I find in my territory, and what kind of potentials are there in my territory? So usually for territory, you should do a SWOT analysis. I'm sure some of you understand what a SWOT analysis is. Would anybody want to describe what a SWOT analysis is in the chat room? I know a lot of you know what it is already. So let me ask you guys, have you ever done a SWOT analysis for your territory? Let me know if you have. Let me know if you don't even understand what SWOT analysis is. I'm looking at the chat room now. Have any of you done a SWOT analysis for your territory? Yes, if you have done. No, if you have not done. And if you don't understand what SWOT analysis is, please just ask, what is SWOT analysis? Hi guys, I hope you guys are awake. So like I told you, it's going to be an interactive session. I'm not here most of the things that I'll be saying here are things you can easily find online. That's the truth. But what makes this kind of meetings different is the fact that we can interact with each other and we can actually, learn from each other. So Godfrey said he has done a SWOT analysis for his territory. Okay, so let me ask you, Godfrey. I don't know if you can unmute. Are you where you are? Is it a quiet place? Can you unmute and speak? So sometimes, I might be asking for things like this because I want others to learn from you. Okay, Adiri say yes, he has, and sometimes can change based on certain exactly. Yes, I can. Godfrey, please unmute your microphone and let's hear you speak. Thank you so much, Godfrey. So can you explain? Let me just ask you first. Where's your territory? Are you in Nigeria or you're outside Nigeria?
I'm outside Nigeria. I'm in Ghana.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Godfrey. Okay, so where in Ghana are you?
I'm in Accra.
Oh, nice. Accra is a big city. Okay,
so nowhere near Lagos or Abuja.
No, don't worry. Well, I know what I mean. So let's see. How did you do this SWOT analysis, and how often do you do SWOT analysis for your territory?
Okay, so I do SWOT analysis yearly for the territory because I have 2 big territories. Like the whole Ghana is divided into 2 big territories. There's the northern and southern Ghana, and for the northern Ghana too, you have subdivisions, and southern Ghana have subdivisions. So I try as much as possible to analyze the territory before the beginning of each year to first of all find out what are the new facilities that are coming to the territory first. So looking at the strengths, just I said, if you are doing a SWOT analysis, the strength is first of all, I need to find out number one, what is the position of the company itself and our brands in that territory that we do find ourselves in. That can be one of our strengths. Number 2, what is the quality of the human resource that we have in that territory. That is also our strength and all that. Our marketing activities that we do, they also are strength. So I look at all these things in the territory. Then for weaknesses, I also look at what are the things that we've not been able to do very well in the territory. Maybe it could be our coverage would be something that we are not doing that well. Good. It could also be that maybe we've not really been understood very well the dynamics of the territory. So all these are things that we are supposed to find out and all that. So if you've not been able to do that, then that means it serves as a weakness. We may not be able to maximize the territory as we want.
Thank you very much.
The opportunities
are. Yeah. Okay. Let
the
me allow you finish.
I look at, okay, what are the emerging facilities? So it could be the pharmacy shops that are coming up, the hospitals that are coming up. Is it a teaching hospital and all that? So what are the emerging facilities that are coming in there? Is there any pull out of even a competitor in that space that I can leverage on that to even expand my business in there? So these are the things that I look out for, the opportunities. And with regards to the threats, I also look at, is there the presence of a new competitor in there? That could be that. It could even be a regulatory framework that has been passed. And what is the essence of it on my business within that territory and all that? Yes. So these are some of the things I look for when I'm doing the SWOT analysis. Yeah, it's just brief, but I think I've been able to tackle each one.
How about threats?
Come again?
Threats. I didn't hear you say anything about threats.
Yeah.
As a SWOT analysis, it's T.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I talked about that. That's where I talked about the fact that number one, the presence of a competitor. I did talk about that. Is it the presence of a major competitor in the territory that can be a threat to me? I also even have to look at even the legal framework. For example, let me give you a typical example. I have a product called eNuts, which is natural vitamin E. Okay. So this was a product that I was doing ATL promotions. Yeah, so I had billboards in certain parts of the city. Then I picked signals that the FDA was coming to say that for such product, I can't advertise again. So I can't do the ATL billboards. When I did the ATL billboards, the product saw almost about 30% growth in business. Yeah. But now they say that they consider the product as a purely prescription, though it's 400 IU vitamin E. So I can't do ATL activities, meaning that this was a threat that was coming. So with my store, how will I be able to now change things so that I don't lose out on the business that was coming out? So for the territories that were giving so much business because of this ATL activities that I was doing, now I needed to find ways of maybe increasing my BTL activities and social media activities so that such threats, the legal, once the letter comes or the law is passed, I do not stand at a disadvantage. So these are some of the threats that I can also, I also took into consideration when doing SWOT.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Godfrey. Let me ask you one more question before you go. What were your sources of gathering? Because information gathering is one very key factor when it comes to territory analysis. Analysis. So how did you gather your information? I know some of the people now will be wondering, where did this guy get all this information from? So how do you gather information? Very important.
Yeah, so the information was gathered through several avenues. Number one, so primary data. So some of the things I asked my team to go to the field, or I myself on the field.
Are you a sales manager? Are you a sales manager?
Yes, I'm a business.
No wonder. Okay. Now it makes sense.
So if I'm on the field and I see, sometimes you're on the field and you may even see maybe hospital open up soon, pharmacy open up soon. So these are sources of information that you can pick as primary data for you to know.
Thank you for coming down to our level. Thank you for coming down to our level.
See you. So these are some of the sources of sometimes to even the FDA thing that I talked about. It was through reading. So sometimes you just have to read anything that concerns the industry that you find yourself in. So I was just reading, and it was a seminar that was organized by the FDA. The CEO of the FDA passed that comment on. So I just picked up on it, then followed up. Yeah. I also used feedback from the team. That is also very, very, very important. And lastly,
Thank you.
competitor analysis and information.
Yeah,
Sometimes even on the
yeah.
field, I can just pick up a literature from a competitor just to look at it and see that no, this and this and this what they are talking about. This and
Yeah,
this may
true.
be to be introduced soon. There's a new product they want to introduce soon.
Yeah,
There's
true.
a CPD they are about organizing for their key opinion leaders. So all these are things that serve as sources of information for me to take
Thank
decisions.
you very much. Thank you so much, Godfrey. So I don't know if you all have questions on what Godfrey has said. If you do, just drop them in the chat room. I'm sure we're all reading the chat room. However, Godfrey has actually taken over the presentation. Almost.
I'm not taking over the presentation.
No, sorry, I made it. You have actually broken it down
better
than I would have. Better than I would have. You did a great job, Godfrey. Thank you so much. You did a really great job. I'm happy that you were here, because you have made some points that I might have even forgotten to, emphasize. So I'm really happy you were here. Thank you so much for that, Godfrey. So basically, when it comes to territory analysis, like Godfrey said, you need to be like extra alert. You need to be actively listening, not just with your ears, but with your eyes. So as much as possible, you need to understand what goes on in your territory, the kind of territory that you really have. Sometimes it might be a new territory. It might not be, you might not have an experience and like Godfrey in your territory. So what do you do when you have a territory like that? You need to be actively listening with your eyes, with your nose. Okay, so you need to be actively listening to what goes on in your territory. You need to be paying attention to journals and everything. So the third kind of analysis that you should do in your territory is the analysis of your customer type, both old and new customers. So if, for instance, your territory is a territory that was existing before you joined the organization, you probably want to know what kind of sales happened in that territory before before you came on board. So even if your organization, because I know there's some organizations that have joined an organization that do not have history, customer history or sales history, you might need to go and meet the accountant or whoever collates sales in your organization to get, the sales report of previous years and pick out, customers that have bought within your territory. So why is that important? It's important because it helps you to know people who already know you, people who already like and trust your products. And then you want to go ahead to get started with those people. You want to know why they're currently buying from you, because that will be an eye-opener for you for prospective customers. Because the reason why old customers or new customers are buying from you is probably the reason why prospects will buy from you. Then finally, competitor analysis. Godfrey said a lot about that. That is very important. You need to be listening actively to what your competitors are doing and send weekly reports on competitor activity. The presence of a competitor is a sign that there are opportunities. It can be a threat. It's obviously a threat, but it's a sign that there are opportunities within your territory. So what you should be concerned about is what are your unique selling propositions. So that's basically what today's presentation is all about. And I will just see that. Okay, so one of the things that I've recommended for salespeople that can help you to actually understand personality is personality profile testing. So I don't know how many of us have done that test. Does anybody? I know Godfrey would have. So any other person that has done the test, personality profile test, to understand. He said it all. I think he said it all, to be fair. But more pointers in terms of opportunities would be possible partnership. You can't do it all. Thank you so much, Adiri. I think I will take you up. Let me see. If you can unmute, let me know so that I can explain, what you mean by possible partnership, so that we can understand you better. But let me ask, how many of us have actually done personality profile testing? How many of us understand our personality type? What makes us what makes us most productive? And what makes us least productive? If you have, just say it. You can type it in the chat room. Have you ever done a personality profile test? Do you understand what a personality profile test is? If you have done it, we just let's see in the chat room. Have you done one? Yes, no, I don't know what it is. I'm looking out for your comments. Ekene, thank you so much, Ekene. Yes, oh good, Godfrey. I know Godfrey would have. Ekene, yes. So okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So which of them did you do? Was it the disk analysis? Which of them did you do? Which of them? Okay, I did the pi metrics test. Okay, I'm not sure I know what that is, but I'm sure maybe if I pi metrics. Oh, okay. Which one is the pi metrics? Ade, maybe I shall allow you speak so that you can explain what you meant. Which one is the pi metric? Maybe it's is it like the disk personality test? That's the one I'm most familiar with. Oh, you can't speak where you are. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with the MBTI. That's the one that gives you a combination of four. Yeah, 4 years. So okay. So any other person? I know we're there are like 14 of us in this room. So why is it only 4 of us that are chatting? I want to hear from the others, please. Have you done a personality profile test, or have you, or do you? Okay. So let me give you all an assignment from here. I don't know if anybody has. If you haven't, say no so that we know that you are here with us. Oh, there's so many of us here. Why is there only few people that are chatting? If you have the big five, okay. Thank you so much. The big five. I don't know which one that one is, but however, I would look at all of this. I'm familiar with the MBTI. I'm familiar with this, and biometrics. I'm sure it's similar to this personality profile. I'll check it out. So, any other person? Anybody who hasn't? Is there anyone who hasn't done a personality profile test? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Samuel. Okay. So I would recommend that you, after this session, you could go and check out this few that people have mentioned here. You can just take note of them and check them out and see which of them you would want to do for yourself in terms of understanding your person. Why is this important? It's important because when you understand how you get results, if you understand your personality profile and how you get results, sometimes you might, most times, generically, it's divided into two, introverts and extroverts. If you understand, okay, someone is raising his hand, Angel John. So let me just finish this point and I'll let you speak. So if you understand your personality profile and how you get results, it helps you to be able to get the best out of your territory. So if, for instance, you are, and then I want to use a general one that we all understand, introverts versus extroverts. If you understand your personality type, but it's deeper than that. It's not just about being an introvert or an extrovert. There's actually some other deeper things you understand about yourself. What kind of introvert are you? You know, not everybody's extremely one. So if you understand your personality type and how you get results, for instance, we spoke a lot. I don't know if you all attended the session we had a few weeks ago where we talked about introverts being exceptional at sales. We didn't have any session about extroverts, but if you understand how introverts work, they motivate themselves internally. They get they're most productive when they are in their space. So if, for instance, you're an introvert, you need to understand how you can get the best out of yourself within that territory. And as an extrovert too, you need to understand. So there's some people that you do well with in your territory, there's people you might not do well with. It also helps you to understand who to partner with. So if, for instance, you are a salesperson, you're an introvert going to meet an extrovert, you might not really gel with that kind of person. But if you go along with an extrovert, maybe a colleague or a manager who is an extrovert, then there's a balance, you know. You can blend out things. You would understand better why such a person is giving you an attitude, because obviously you might have different personalities. So it's very important that you understand yourself first before you even begin to understand your customers. Who are you and what makes you most productive? Thank you so much. Angel was raising up his hand. I don't know if you want to say something. Sorry, the hand is actually to indicate that I haven't done any personality tests before. Okay, good, Angel. So like I said, Angel, and I told to the others, if you have not, please, you can take note of some of these ones that have been mentioned. Ekene, let me give you an assignment. Please help me get the link to the biometric test. If you can help me get the link and just type it in the chat room so that those who have not, done any personality profiling or maybe the MBTI too, if Godfrey can help, just help me get a link and post it in the chat room so that those who have not can actually, yes, get to do this exercise this week. It's very important that you understand who you are and how you get the best out of yourself. Okay, so I'm trying. So now let's go into the territory analysis. Like, we said after you have analyzed yourself as a person, you need to analyze your territory. I will take it from two different angles. First, as a new salesperson. As a new salesperson, how can you possibly divide your territory into 3 to 5 distinct areas? I will share my story as when I started out in sales many years ago, maybe almost, let me see, what year was that? I think 15 years ago when I started out in sales. When I started out in sales, I was posted to a region in the West. If you all know Nigeria very well, the Western region. It was a combination of the West and Lagos. So I had a bit of Lagos, I had a bit of the West, that's Ogun State. I also had a bit of Lagos Island. You know how the territory can be split. So I could easily divide my territory into 3 distinct areas. One was the Lagos Island, where I had most of my distributors. And then I had the Lagos aspect of my territory. And then I had the Ogun State aspect of my territory. In fact, Ogun State could also be divided into another 3 distinct areas too. So this is very important for you to do mentally first. Understand your territory, understand how you can divide them into 3 or 5 distinct areas. Why? It will help in your planning. That's when you get to the planning stage. It will help you to be able to plan better. It will also help you to understand where your major customers are in terms of how you have segmented them. We'll talk about a little bit about segmenting your customers today. However, if we're not able to handle it today, we'll handle it next week or most likely during the summit. How do you segment? How do you divide your territory into areas? First, it can be based on geographical location. So in terms of travel time, if, for instance, I were going to the Ogun State today as a sales rep, I would not put on my territory planning that, okay, I'm going to Ogun State and I'll also go to Lagos Island. It will not make sense. It will just wear me out and I'll probably not achieve anything for that day. So in terms of distinct areas, if, for instance, when I divided my territory into 5 distinct areas, I could wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to Ogun State today. My manager will probably ask me, where in Ogun State are you going to? I'll tell him, okay, I'll start off at Shagamu. From Shagamu, I'll end up in Abeokuta, and then I'll come back home. That will be more realistic than for me to tell him that, okay, I'm going to see a customer in Lagos Island in the morning. Then from that Lagos Island, I will now end up in Shagamu. It will not make sense to him. So that dividing your territory into distinct areas actually helps you to plan better when you get to the territory planning stage. So let me ask you all, have you been able to divide your territory? I'm sure some of you who are already on the field, have been able to divide your territory into distinct areas. So share with me how it has helped you perform better, so that some of us who are here that have not done it would learn from it. So oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just realized that some of you couldn't hear me. At what point did you stop hearing me, please? Thank you so much, Adiri. I don't know what point you stopped hearing what I was saying. I think there was a point I went mute. Okay. Okay, so can you all hear me now? I think I'm okay. At what point? Okay, better. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Umar. Okay, so let me hear. Umar, would you be able to take up the floor? Let's hear from you. How have you share with us your experience about territory? You're having distinct areas in your territory, and how you've been able to divide your territory into geography based on geographic location or based on your customer segments and get results from that. If you don't mind, let me know if you can talk, or any other person who would not mind speaking up. Like I said, it's going to be very an interactive session, so please let us be as open to sharing more than just listening. From my experiences, we can learn from each other. So let's see, how has that helped you? Or is there anyone here who has had a problem with dividing your territory into distinct areas? Can you share with us why you have a problem, if you've had a problem with it, and what the problem actually is, so that we can actually help you? You have a lot of gurus here today, so we can actually help you. So anyone who has had a problem with
Yeah, hello, Rajafa. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Umar. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah. Once again, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay.
Like you were saying about territory sharing.
Yeah.
Initially, I was based in Abuja before I was moved to Kaduna, and I've never been to Kaduna at all.
Okay, you're a bit low. I don't know if it's your volume. Can you speak up or put your microphone closer to your mouth? Thank you so much. It's better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better, much better.
Okay. I say initially I was in Abuja before I was transferred to Kaduna to develop the territory. So on coming to Kaduna, I found it a bit challenging for the first 3 months. I couldn't do proper territory sharing until I was guided by my manager and some reps who I met on ground to make. So what they did was that they showed me the top performing customers in the town. There's some sub customers in some local government where Zaria, Kapachan, Katia, Saminaka. So I went there and had a meeting with them and we discussed. So that's my experience. But actually, I'm still confused.
Okay, you're still confused.
Yes, on this year, well, I've not gone to some local government because of the security, and I need to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that is my own experience.
Okay, so is that the reason why you're still confused, because you have not been able to visit all the
local government concerned? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's actually a very unique situation. I would not recommend that you put your life at risk for that. So it's understandable. So for you, what you should be thinking is how you can optimize the territories that are safe, the safe territories, because the truth is that the fact that you are in the north alone is an opportunity for you, in the sense that most people who would normally do business from a distance don't have the opportunity of your presence, on ground. So you need to, as much as possible, maximize the territories that are safe, and get the utmost from the best from them possible. See how you can increase your forecast for those ones that are within your control, than getting overwhelmed and then frustrated with the ones that are not in your control. I don't know if you understand me, Omar. So try and see if you can maximize the ones within your control, and then don't get frustrated with the ones that are not within your control. Does that make sense to you? So during the summit, we're going to have somebody coming from, he's based in Abuja though, but we're going to have a sales guru coming to describe or break down the Northern Territory. So he has been working in the north for years. I'm sure over 15 years now. So he would come, and maybe I would not want you to miss a session like that, because you will be able to ask him more specific questions, and he'll be able to help you to overcome some of the challenges you're having. So as much as possible, I want you to be as detailed as possible during his session. Don't just, he's going to be as detailed as possible too, but ask specific questions during his session. His name is Jeff Onadiki. So he'll be coming in and he'll be dissecting the northern region, and you can ask him specific questions on how to optimize and maximize the territories that are within your reach, and how you can get the best from those particular territories that are within your reach. So Omar, look out for that session during the sales summit. Thank you too, Omar. So finally, let's look at, I think we have two more. Let's see. We have two more. Okay, yes, two more. First, we have, okay, so in terms of your territory analysis, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what Godfrey was talking about. I wish I could help someone here, maybe Godfrey, don't worry, and I co-facilitator. I wish we could help someone analyze his or her territory. If you've been finding it difficult analyzing your territory in terms of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, we could do it together today. So I would want you to, if there's anybody who wants to volunteer, let's work with you and see how we can analyze your territory in terms of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. If you are new and you don't even know your territory, there's someone here who is new and doesn't even know his territory, don't worry. When you get started, you understand. But if, for instance, you have a territory and it's overwhelming, you haven't had anybody sit you down to analyze your territory in terms of its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, maybe you should raise your hand and let's see how we can help you today. It's possible we might be able to help you, at least help you get started on how to get started, because we might not have enough data on what your territory is all about, but we could actually point you in the right direction. So if you're here, it's an opportunity for you to raise your hand and let's see. Okay, Angel, beautiful. So you have to unmute your end, Angel. You have to unmute your microphone or so we can hear you. Okay, Angel.
Good morning. Yes, good morning, ma.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, ma.
Okay, so which is this the Angel I know? The Angel in Asaba?
Yes, the Angel in Asaba.
Oh, beautiful. So Angel, how are you? I know that I don't know if anybody here understands that region very well, but I got somebody for the sales summit who will be dissecting that eastern region too. I know that the territory is in the eastern part of Nigeria. So there will be someone who will be dissecting the eastern part of Nigeria for people in the east. So as much as possible, look out for that session during the summit and pay attention and ask your specific questions. But let's see if we can help you. Let's see if we can help you today. So your territory, geographically, yes. Can you describe it for us? I know Godfrey might not be able to help because he's in Ghana, but I'm sure he'll be able to make some contributions that can help. So let's describe your territory in terms of the region, the geographical region.
Okay. In terms of geographical region, it's in the east.
Okay.
I majorly covered Asaba, to be specific. It's part of it's the only town in Delta I'm supposed to cover Asaba, and then the entire of Anambra.
Anambra State, I know. Yeah. Okay.
Oka, Onitsha, Newi, and then other villages.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at the strengths. What are some of the strengths in your territory?
The drug markets, the large open drug markets. Let's say the concentration of wholesalers, the drug markets, and
okay. Yeah. Can you still hear me, Angel? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so just the open market, that's the only strength you have. So how about, okay. Yes, you want to mention another strength?
That's actually why I wanted to analyze it with us.
Okay,
So
okay, now
maybe
I
there
understand.
are things that will even be my strength that I've not been able to identify.
Okay, so let's look at it the way we have gone from this presentation now. You are also a strength there. You remember what Godfrey said, and what I have said too.
Yeah.
That the most important
Yes.
person to analyze is yourself. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes.
As much as possible, you should understand that you have no option but to be a strength in your territory. Do you understand?
Okay.
As much as possible,
Yes.
you are the first strength within your territory. And
Okay.
what do I mean by you? I mean you in the sense that you understand yourself, you understand your personality and how you get results.
Okay.
You understand? You're focused and you understand your product. So it means you need to develop yourself such that you become a strength. Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of um, your relationship with your customers, in terms of how you plan your day-to-day activity, how okay, can you all still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Angel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, beautiful. Yes, I can. So in terms of how you plan your day-to-day activity, how disciplined you are, and the kind of relationship you have with your customers, how professional are you? So as much as possible, if you are your own weakness, so in this segment, so you need to do like a self-analysis. Are you a strength to your territory, or are you a weakness? Ask yourself that real question. You don't need to answer it here, but ask yourself, how trained are you? How do you handle objections? How do you handle your customers and your prospects? So if you are a weakness currently, you need to move yourself over to the side, over to the segment of your strength. Do you understand? So after you have analyzed yourself, then you can now begin to analyze, your territory in terms of how large it is. So that's what you did. You that's the only thing you mentioned basically. That it's large. There's an open market there. And then the next thing you also want to analyze is your products. I know that you work for a company that has unique products. Your packaging is exceptional. I'm sure you will agree with me. It's one of the best. Yes, it's one of the best. I'm sure it's the top. If you mention the top 5 products in your category, I'm sure your products will actually be one of the top 5. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So that is a strength for you. Do you understand? So that's a strength for you. Let me allow Godfrey to I don't know if anything is coming to Godfrey's mind. Godfrey, are you still here? Please. Is any other thing coming to your mind in terms of the strengths that are available to Angel? Godfrey is a sales manager, so he would be able to. Godfrey, are you still here? Okay. So before he comes on board, what?
I think during his contribution, he made mention of promotion activities as well.
Exactly. Okay. So is that something you? Because I didn't know whether you. I don't know whether you do it often in your territory, but I know that your MD is more. Your MD too will be speaking at the summit, so I know that he's pro marketing. He's not like those other MDs that you need to convince about marketing. Your MD is pro marketing. Okay, Godfrey says he's talking 2 minutes. Okay, beautiful. So your MD is pro marketing. So he's someone that is open to marketing ideas and marketing opportunities. He's not shy of marketing his products. I'm very sure of that.
Yes.
So that's an advantage for you. I hope you're writing this down.
Yes, I'm writing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now the question I want to ask you is this a strength or is this an opportunity? Because it's a strength if, for instance, you're currently optimizing it. But if you are not optimizing it, then it's an opportunity for you to optimize. It's an opportunity for you to take advantage of. Do you understand? So if,
for instance, your organization is a pro-marketing organization and you haven't been maximizing that opportunity, you might need to start, considering maximizing it. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do you understand? So if,
Yes.
if for instance, yes, you have a territory that is that has an open market like that is very big, my question to you is, what have you done to make those people in that big open market to know that you exist in that territory? What have you done? What have you really done to make a mark in that open market? Because I know that your MD will be open to making a mark, to making some noise. Do you understand?
Yes.
So what have you really done, to make some noise in that territory? That might be an opportunity you might want to look at. So we're talking about strengths and opportunities now. You get?
Yeah.
So that might be an opportunity that you want to look at. How can you make some noise? How can you shake that market? Everybody will know that, yes, Angel is in town. When you're entering the market, everybody will shout, Angel, Angel, Angel. Do you understand? How can you make some noise? Because yes, you have an MD who is pro-man. Most people wish they had that kind of an MD that is pro-market. Yours is marketing. It's not someone that you need to convince extra about marketing your products or advertising your product. He's actually pro-marketing. So what kind of noise have you made in your territory that makes people know that Angel is in town? That might be an opportunity you might want to consider, this year, especially to mark some very significant dates, that are in line with some of the products you sell. How have you made noise? How have you made noise about those dates in your territory? So those are opportunities you might need to. So when you have a strength that you have not optimized, it's actually an opportunity. And then
an opportunity.
And then another thing is, I know that, what? I didn't hear you.
I said I'm understanding it, this thing today, that strength have actually converted opportunities.
Yes, your strengths are, yes, okay. So yes, I think that, so when you have converted an opportunity when you have maximized an opportunity, it becomes a strength, yes. But when you have a strength that you haven't even tapped into, it's an opportunity. Opportunity can also be new products which is also so new products that I know you're about launching some new products. I know that you guys are launching some new products. Those are huge opportunities. Those are huge opportunities that you can actually, start making noise about now, even before the products come in. Such that when the products come in, you can be one of the top, salespeople for that. Those are the kind of things that I usually would like to make noise about when I was a sales rep, especially when I'm struggling in an area where everybody's doing well at. I like to look for rare opportunities where I can shine easily. I remember when we first launched in a vaccine, every other company, GSK was the king of vaccines then. So we were new to the vaccine industry. And I remember I was one of the first sales reps who had to bring in that vaccine. I knew it was an opportunity to shine. So I took it and I ran with it. Before anybody could even realize what was going, I had already started hitting my sales. Do you understand? I was passionate about it. So that way I was able to break new grounds. I was able to, make a name for myself. I was able to shine before other people now started realizing what was happening. Do you understand? So those are ways in which you can break grounds. Those are ways in which your name can come up in a management meeting. They'll say, wow, see what Angel is already doing, even with the product we just launched 2 days ago. See what he has done. Do you get? So it's when there are new products, it's an opportunity to shine. Trust me. Angel said he will speak in the next. Angel, Godfrey, sorry, let me know when you're ready to speak. I would like to hear, some new, some recommendations you might have for Angel. So let's talk about before Godfrey speak. Let's talk about your weaknesses. I don't know if you'll be open to share with us, but your weaknesses and your threats.
Okay, I think one of my weaknesses, my major weaknesses, in my territory is language barrier. I'll start with language barrier.
Okay.
Then number 2, our product prices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? How about threats?
Threat. competitor activities,
Okay.
market, uncontrolled markets, anything just come in. Parallel importation, let me put it like that, parallel importations.
Okay.
Products that are not controlled. You go through the process to register a product and make it a genuine product before bringing it into the market. And then before you know anything, someone just bring in something that looks like what you are offering and then crash the price and start competing with you. And so it's actually a threat. Yeah, a big threat.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Then when we talk about institution activities, most product, the point of the of actually beginning the demands is from the hospitals, and then should I say the level of the acceptance of our kind of product here in institutions is actually a threat, or it's a weakness. I don't know, because
let me understand. Okay.
The level of acceptance of the nature of our product here in institutions where you should be doing your demands generation activities. Most of the doctors will tell you these are multivitamins, we don't prescribe them, and then some of them feel people here are poor, these products are expensive for us to start prescribing them in the hospitals. In fact, in HOD, NAYUT, that's the teaching hospital in Inewi, blandly told me that stores like this should not be brought into a teaching hospital because they are not curative. And so it's actually a challenge. And then the territory as well, the government impact on the health care, it's also part of what affects the institutions here as well, because the government may decide and say, okay, we are taking care of the health system. We want to give them free health schemes. And so because of that, they go for brands that are cheaper to be able to maximize profit. Or I don't know how to put it, but I don't know if you understand. Government goes for cheaper brands instead of,
I do.
Everybody is going for health scheme. Yeah, for health scheme, and then they are giving them cheap brands. And so it looks like when you want to introduce something that is of a higher quality, that comes with, of course, compel them to pay more, it becomes an issue. And then the doctors will first of all be the objection you will have that these things are expensive, and beside that, they are not curative. So me, I don't prescribe them. So please, you can take this thing somewhere else, not in a teaching hospital like this. I told you of the experience with the HOD teaching hospital, where she told me, Claire, that these things are expensive and they are not even supposed to be seen in teaching hospitals. You can take this thing to places like private hospitals and sell them, not to us. And that is where you're supposed to have bulk of your demand generations and all of that. So I don't know if this
let me
has
ask you. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Which territory is closest to yours that is doing very well? Which territory in your organization is doing very well?
Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt.
Yes.
Where does 80% of their sales come from? Have you ever bothered to ask?
They come from their they have wholesalers, good wholesalers. The pharmaceutical wholesale, that's pharmacists that are into wholesale. They don't have an open market. So it's the pharmacist that runs a wholesale businesses that generates business for them. And they have a good number of them. So
beautiful. So it's pharmacists that generate business for the wholesalers. So is it possible that maybe that's what you should experiment? Is it possible you should try that model instead of wasting your time in the hospitals, teaching hospitals that are rejecting? Yes. Is it possible you try that model and see if it will work in your territory? Because sometimes it's better to copy a model that is working than for you to try out a new model that will frustrate you. So if that business model is working for a territory close to yours and they are doing well, why don't you, liaise with one of your salespeople in that territory and see how they are getting that, how the model works, see how it works, and try and see if you can recreate that model in your territory.
Okay.
That's one option. Then secondly, I think you have to, I know you have a sales manager, a sales director, I think. I don't know. Yeah, you have a sales manager, you have a sales director. So you need I don't know how often you do your sales training. but you actually need a sales training on how to handle objections. I can see you have a lot of objections you've not been able to handle.
Yeah.
So it's a weakness on your behalf as a sales professional, and you need to work on that so that you can be a strength for you.
Okay.
Do you understand? These objections are objections that you must have. I've worked in a company that sells premium products all my life.
Yeah.
So I know that handling price objection is an objection you must have if you're selling premium products. And you need to be able to master how to handle that objection. If you don't master how to handle it, they will bamboozle you and you will just get discouraged. So you can write it as one of your developmental needs for this year. You can choose to engage your sales manager to help you or your sales director, or you can choose to just, engage maybe someone else who can help you or do a course on it. So I can recommend a few courses.
Okay. I think MD we just did one in January that MD organized for us.
How to handle objections, right?
Handle objections, yes. But
you need to practice it. Yes, you need to practice it. Is more than just being trained. It's more of you need to practice it. You need to practice it. If possible, you need to be coached. So let your sales manager go on a call with you, or you go on a call with your sales manager. You can anybody, or go on a call with a colleague. You can travel to Port Harcourt just to see how they are doing things there. Tell your manager, please, I just want to go to Port Harcourt and see how they are doing things there. Do you understand? And go there and see what's happening. See how your people, your colleagues are handling objections. See how they are doing. Just because sometimes classroom training is like 20% of what you need to actually, learn a new skill. 80% of it is on the field, on the job. So you can actually learn it in the classroom. You can attend on a series and series of online courses on it. But if you don't practice it, you would not perfect it. So as much as possible, practice it with your sales manager. Go on a call with a colleague. Even if you might not even have to go to Port Harcourt. But just call a colleague in Port Harcourt and go on a call with him and tell him, please, let's do a role play. I'm having this objection very often. I don't know how to handle it. Can we do a role play? Let me ask you, let me be the customer, you be the sales rep. And I'll ask you, let me see how you answer. Record the conversation, and then practice it yourself.
Okay.
So these are things that you can actually do to move some of these your weaknesses to strengths. And then for the language barrier, I don't know, where are you from?
That's from Benue State.
Oh, Benue State. Okay, so I can't tell you to start learning Igbo now. It's going to be.
No, I just have to.
Yeah, so just practice some. Yeah, because I remember when I moved to the West too. When I moved to the West, I wasn't speaking Yoruba at all. I could understand Yoruba, but I was not speaking. But I started to practice it. They would laugh at me. And from that laughing, I build rapport.
Yes.
So you can actually convert that to also a strength. Language barrier, just learn some basic greetings in the language, in the dialects. Basic greetings, understand some basic, pleasantries and basic things, and then even how to ask for your money, your check, understand all those, small things you understand. And then when you say, they will laugh at you initially because of maybe your accent. But trust me, they would actually be happy that you're trying. They will be happy that you're trying. Thank you so much, Angel. We have spent so much time here with you. I hope it was useful. I hope it was useful for you. Thank you. I don't know if Godfrey can speak now. I would really have loved Godfrey to make some contribution. He said I should give him 2 minutes. Godfrey is more than 2 minutes now. I'm waiting for Godfrey. Okay. If not Godfrey, is any other person here that wants to make a contribution?
Okay. Hello.
Any other person that wants to help?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Godfrey's back. Thank you. Welcome. I missed you.
Thank you. I was a little bit engaged in a small meeting. That's why I said, okay. So I listened to our brother Angel. I think that's the name, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I was listening to him. And for his weakness, for example, I remember him talking about language barrier,
Yes.
the price of the product,
Yes.
and he was making some. He also made a point about the acceptance of the product. So for that,
Yes.
I wanted to find out from him, when you talk about the acceptance of the product can be accepted or not accepted. Sometimes it can be the price. The price can be a reason why they will not accept the product. Is it that the people don't see the need for the product also there? So you can have the best price, but if they don't see the need of the product, accepting it will be very difficult for them. And it can also be that even the reputation of the company or So these are things that we may need to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are some companies, when they launch a product, no one needs to question them about the quality level. Yeah. Once it's from product A, everyone will assume that it's going to be the best of the products on the market. So when he talks about the acceptance of the product, maybe these are some of the things we may need to interrogate further. Is it about price? Is it about people not finding the need of the product? So if it's about people not finding the need of the product, I remember him saying that there's a teaching hospital, the pharmacist said this product shouldn't be sold here.
Okay, let me give you some background into that. It's because it's a multivitamin. You know,
Very
there's a lot of how do I put it? A lot of ideologies about multivitamins.
Exactly.
Some professionals are pro multi, why others are not.
Yeah.
So that's why he has that challenge in the teaching hospitals.
Okay. So let me share with you some of the things I've done, even with regards to this. So there are places where I went and they talked about the product not necessarily being useful. They don't think that it's, So for 3 places, what I did was that to break into that, I spoke with my country manager, also took his approval and said, okay, now let's go and donate the product. Let's do some donation of the product to the key department that we want them to use the product. So it was just like a trial.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's donate the product to them. And they will give some patients, or they'll put some patients on the product. After a period of time, they realize that at least the patients who were put on the product, they benefited in one way or the other. So it made them rethink that, our perception that multivitamin, because I also sell multivitamin. I sell multivitamin with ginseng and multivitamin in Ghana. And it's also selling in Nigeria also. Yeah. So we realized that no, this product can be of help to some of these patients that we thought that it is not needed. So sometimes some of these investment, I call it investment, donating them, letting them use it for free and other things will be a reason for them to accept the product and know that yes, the product have a score in their treatment and it will be beneficial to their patients in there. So I think it's something that you can also look at to deal with that weakness. Okay, if that is it. But if it's weakness about price, then you may also want to know how to handle the issue about price. Can you give them a special pricing scheme or anything of that sort? Yeah. The other thing is that, frankly speaking, as salespeople, as marketers, we should also know that it's not every product that will sell at every place. So sometimes we try to use a lot of time in trying to push certain product at places where it will not really sell. So if you really understand the area very well, sometimes you know that no, don't let me commit in so much resources on this. I can find a place where maybe this product will sell. There are some places or some product I use only 2 hospitals in Ghana to achieve even my yearly targets. Yeah, because I've identified that hospital. There's an orthopedic place, so I can go to them, arrange with them. As soon as the product comes, they can take even a whole batch of the product, and my target is done. But other places, I know that no matter how much I break my back, they have little need there because there may not even be an orthopedic surgeon there, an orthopedic unit there. So why do I have to do that over there? Okay. You talked about competition, also threats. You talk about your competition. You talk about para imports. You talk about competitive activities and economic situation. I think that is the whole thing about the threat. threats are things that you can't do so much about it. They are external. However, you can take certain actions to mitigate the impact of it. Hello, am I on?
Yes, your answer.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
So when I talk about para imports, we also suffer, or I also suffer it in Ghana here. So what do I do? Sometimes you realize that these para imports are not products that are even registered with
Exactly.
maybe, yes. So one thing I did when I faced a similar challenge was that I knew my product was registered. Okay. And there was para import that were coming in from the UK that wasn't registered. So I quickly changed my marketing campaign. And on my brochures and even on the product, we now started indicating the only registered brand in Ghana.
Okay.
So the only FDA registered brand in Ghana. So that alone also yielded some results. So now people know that, oh, this is the only registered. And we were very bold with that claim that anyone that is coming, we can put it to you, we can challenge you that is not registered in the country. It's just para imports. So if it comes to any product recall and all these things, it will be difficult for them, but we can activate a product recall in case there is an adverse effect or anything on that side. We can have our pharmacovigilance team working on that. So these are some of the things sometimes you need to also be very, very blunt and do a head-on attack with your competitors. When we started doing that, people got to know that, oh, so even this is not registered. I've not said that other products are not registered. I'm saying that my product is the only registered brand in Ghana. So if you can also, yeah, I didn't mention your name. Yeah, so if you can also make that claim, then you can do that.
Yeah, I remember when you just talked about it, Godfrey. I remember my experience too on the field when we're selling a particular product that was being imported parallelly in the open market. I know what Angel is experiencing. So I remember that particular product because a customer was getting it cheaper from the open market because it wasn't that one. The open market was a parallel import. So the customer refused to buy from us and was buying from the open market. So eventually what happened, they got into trouble. A customer from the US bought that product in large quantity and took it to the US. When he got to the US, he was using, because it was a product for intraocular pressure, a prescription product. So he was using that product and he was not getting the desired outcome. So his doctor in the US took the product and said he was going to test it. And when he tested it, he realized that there was no molecule of the drug in that product. So they came back with lawyers to sue that customer. And they came crying to us that they bought from us. And we provided our evidence that they did not buy from us. Yeah. Provided all the evidence. So that kind of a thing it's a one way in which you can create doubt in the name of your customers or your potential customers. Let them know that there are consequences for not buying, products that are registered or products that are or buying from parallel imports. There are consequences, and when those consequences come, you cannot help them. But if there are issues as a result of your products, you can actually help them, just like Godfrey was saying. So it's true. It's good that you have, you can actually confidently, back your product and say it's the number one or only registered product in the East. You can even put it in the East. You don't even have to put it in Nigeria, so you don't sound like a liar. But you can say in the East, in the Eastern region, this is the first or maybe the only registered multivitamin. And the truth is that when customers get to hear that, even if your distributors are not telling them, the customer will hear it one way or the other. It could be on a roll-up banner you put in front of a pharmacy. It could be on a roll-up banner you put in front of a hospital, a teaching hospital, maybe the maternity clinic. Do you understand? And the patients will start to point at it and say, I want this one. This one that is registered is the one I want. So that's one way. Thank you, Godfrey, for sharing. Thanks. That's one way you can actually hear.
Yeah. So that is that with your, I think for your when you're talking about the strength, at that time I was a little bit on another course. I couldn't hear that much. But I think for your weakness, language barrier, product price, you've talked about the threats. We've talked about, I didn't hear about the opportunities that you talked about also. So maybe I can't comment on the opportunities and strength for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Okay, so
welcome.
I don't know, Angel, you're good, right? You have a lot
Yes,
you have
I'm very
written
good.
down in your notes, right? I'm sure you have.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you so much,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Angel, for stepping up. So let's talk about, I don't know if any other person wants to, comment, or if you want us to help you out. Any other person who wants to comment or who needs help with their territory in terms of SWOT analysis. We might not be able to take it as detailed as this, but if you have a specific question you want to ask, we can actually help. So just drop it in the chat room. I'll be looking, Godfrey too will be looking to see if we can help you. So let's talk about the customers now in terms of, we're talking about different kinds of analysis you should do as a salesperson. First, you analyze yourself and see who you are and how you can get the best. What makes you special? What's your personality profile? How trained, how developed are you? What kind of mindset do you have about your sales and about your territory? And then some of the skills, if there are any skills that you need to develop, like in the case of Angel, we understand that he needs to develop the objection handling skill. So if there's a particular skill that you need to develop as a sales professional, how can you start, working on that? And then secondly, you look at your territory in terms of geography and location, and then customer segmentation. We didn't talk much about customer segmentation, but like I said, if we cannot handle it today, we'll handle it during the summit. So let's talk about the customers, the kind of customers. What should you be analyzing in terms of your customer types? So for instance, if it's a new territory, let me start with if it's a new territory. If it's a new territory, you probably want to look at the customers in other territories that are similar to yours that have been doing business with that particular organization in terms of what's the demography of those customers? What kind of business do they do? What's the demography in terms of their age, their gender, and their educational level, their profession? So you want to look at things like this. What is common among people who are currently buying currently buying this product from my organization? What's common amongst them? Why do you need to do this? It's important because as a salesperson, you're under pressure. I understand you're under pressure. You have sales targets, you have every other thing you need to do. But you need to understand that your customers and your prospects are also under pressure. So if you don't understand what their needs are, how can you relieve some of their pressure? You probably would not get them to, you probably will be targeting the wrong set of customers and you'll be frustrated. They will be frustrated too because you keep coming to their office, disturbing them, and they don't want to buy from you. Because you haven't gotten the demography right. So analyzing the customers, your customers, previous customers, and the new customers is one analysis that you need to do periodically. Like I said, if it's a new territory, you might want to analyze a territory that is similar to yours that have been doing business with that particular organization. Another thing you want to know about those kind of customers are, what are their pain points? You need pain points in the sense that what are their needs? What are their burdens? What are their pressure points? And then how can your product help solve those pain points? Why are they currently buying? How is your product solving those pain points for them? Then why? The question is, in summary, you need to understand why they are currently buying from you. Why? Why are they currently buying from you? Are they currently buying from you because of the sales rep in the territory? That's if it's a different territory. Or maybe the sales rep that was in your territory before had a good rapport with them. Why? You need to be able to know why they bought from you in the past. Then why did they stop buying from you? So these are questions you need to consistently ask yourself about, the customers within your territory or the customers who are currently doing business in your organization. Why are they buying from your organization? If they have stopped buying, why did they stop buying from you? Then finally, how can you segment your customers? So talking about customer segmentation, depending on I know that there's a few of us here that might not be in pharmaceuticals. So depending on depending on the kind of products you sell and the industry you are in, customer segmentation might mean different things for different people. So how do you want to segment your customers? So for us in the pharmaceuticals, there's so many ways we segment our customers. I'll share with you one of them. And then maybe subsequently, if we have time, we'll share more of them. One of the ways in which we segment our customers are based on their business type. Yes, we do it based on the business type. So we have we have customers who are, we call distributors. Usually, if you are in the Nigeria or if you are in Lagos State, you usually find them in the open market. So in Lagos Island, for instance, in Onitsha, you have them. So these are major distributors. You also have other kinds of distributors that are not in the open market. There are these new breed of distributors that are professional. So the previous kind of distributors we had were not pharmacists. They were just open market distributors, people who had the capital to be able to import drugs. But of recent, in the last couple of years, we've had a lot of pharmacists go into distribution, good as in the right kind of distribution. So rarely would you find parallel imports in those kind of distributors, with those kind of distributors, or rarely would you find in counterfeit products with those kind of distributors. So those are distributors, we call them the distributors. And then we have institution business. So those institution business could be hospitals, and it could also be what we call, some of us call key accounts, in terms of organizations that are not hospital. They don't have a teaching hospital or a kind of a hospital, but they have clinics that can do huge businesses with us, with the organization. For instance, the Mobiles, the Chevrons, most of them, when I was on the field, they were handled as a segment of customers that it's only the key account manager that goes to see them, maybe sometimes with the rep. But those kind of customers we used to segment, because the price, so this depend on the segment of the customers, the prices we usually would give them will be different. Distributor price is always the cheapest, and then the institutional business are always the highest. So we have that, and then we also have the retailers. So the retailers are the retail pharmacy outlets and everything. So if for you could decide to segment your customers based on geographic location. You could also decide to segment them based on some of the demographics that you have noticed, that are peculiar. And then you could choose to segment them based on their buying patterns. How often do they buy? What quantity do they buy? So these are ways in which you can segment your customers. So let me ask you, I don't want to be talking to myself. Let me ask you in the chat room, do you have segments? Have you been able to segment your customers in your territory? And what did you use? What was the segmentation criteria? How many segments do you have, and what are those segments? How did you divide them into segments? Please, let's learn from the chat room. We have so many experts here, so I want to learn from you too. So what segmentation did you use? What segmentation criteria did you use? And how has it been effective for you? So let's go. Are we all awake? I hope there's no one sleeping. I hope it's not a boring session. Are we gaining something from this session, please? Please let me know in the chat room. I've turned on my video again. I had issues with it earlier. That's why it was off. Oh, so someone is raising his hand. Beautiful. I like when someone raises his or her hand. Okay, Angel, you again. Let's talk. Angel, okay, let's talk. I want to hear from the others. Miriam.
No, I think my phone is misbehaving. I didn't raise my hand.
Okay, Angel. So let me hear from the others. There are a lot of people here and they're just quiet. Kingsley, Solomon. Okay. Ekene, you want to speak? Let me see. A lot. Okay, yes, a lot. I do you cannot speak. Say you cannot. Yes, we are. So Ekene, do you want to share with us? Okay, I'm on the road. Okay, you're on the road. Okay, fine. Kingsley, Tokes, Umar, you want to share with us some ways in which you have segmented your customers? Olatubosun, you want to share with us? I'd like to hear from. Okay, yeah, I know you're on the road. That's fine. So who's sharing with us? I can hear someone. Distributors, okay. Oh, you're learning a lot. Thank you so much, Ekene. Thank you so much for that feedback. What do you want me to share? Okay, I want you to share how you've been able to segment your customers and what criteria you used while you were segmenting them. So a lot of people here, yeah, Adeoye, I don't know if you got the question now. Have you been able to segment your customers? What criteria did you use? Did you use their buying behaviors? Did you use their business type? Did you use their demography? How were you able to segment your customers? Why is it important for you to segment your customers? It's important for you to segment your customers so that you can understand you can understand how to allocate your time and your resources to different segments that can give you optimal outcome. So if, for instance, you're segmenting your customers based on the way I said it in the past. So I was sharing with you how I would segment my customers when I was a rep. We had institutional businesses, we had retail businesses, we had distributor businesses. So for instance, a distributor now who gets the prices, the products at the minimum price, you get the products at the least possible price. I don't spend so much time with them. You get, they're not bringing in so much profit to my business. So I see them maybe once a month. You get, so with that on my mind, a lot of people would go and sleep with their distributors. There's no need for that. If you have a distributor who is buying from you consistently, all you need to do is just have a forecast for them, have a plan for them, and follow up with them. You can follow up with them on phone. You don't even need to go there physically, except maybe you want to get a new distributor on board. Then you have to visit them as often as possible. But once a month is okay for a distributor who is buying from you and who is growing and following, who is growing as much as you want them to grow. Of course, their growth will also depend on your growth. So if you understand the way the model works, it's your retail business that feeds or that feeds from your wholesale business. So if that channel is flowing well, if your retail business is growing, your distributor business will grow too. So that means you need to spend more time with your retailers than with your distributor. So if you're going to see a distributor once a month, you should see a retailer who is buying from that distributor at least 3 or 4 times that month, so that by the end of the month, the distributor would have run out of stock and they're ready to buy from you again. Do you understand? So, but it doesn't mean you will not call them often, but it means you need to spend more time. So then I remember that then a lot of people used to sleep, with their distributors just because they wanted them to buy more from them. But however, I didn't see it as a wise strategy, because you going to spend so much time with your distributor means that you're just relocating your products from one warehouse to another, as Osas would say. If you listen to Osas before, that's one thing is always that pains him a lot. So you're just relocating your products from the company website warehouse to your distributor's warehouse. But you need to find a way to channel those products out so that it's a cycle that will keep flowing. So I don't know if you understand. So if you understand me, that's fine. But if you don't, you can ask the question. So let me see. How Adeoye, I don't know if you can speak. Does anybody want to speak or share how they've been able to segment their customers and how it has helped them to plan better?
Hi everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi Adeoye.
It's been an interesting one here, and a lot of it is bringing out a lot of memories.
Exactly.
I've been in the pharma. I was in the pharma industry in the earlier days of my sales career, and what is coming out now is resonating in a lot of ways, and it's even bringing a lot of creative ideas into what I'm currently in. I'm still within the healthcare industry too, but I'm still willing to engage people within the pharma sector. So essentially, what I can bring out from that in terms of customer segmentation, because I do more of B2B business now, and I've found out that to further grow your business, the most important thing you have to do is continuously fill your pipeline. Pipeline filling is very important. The more your pipeline, the more your chance of conversion and like that. And the easiest way to fill your pipeline is to profile properly, so that you won't waste your time with someone that might not eventually buy from you.
Yeah, sure.
Another easy way to do it is, of course, like we all said, we have to segment according to category, industry. I do all that. If you are doing B2B, you have to even do that. Segment according to location, category of business, industry, and across retail and even wholesale, and then of course the big distributors. But the key thing in doing all those things is that importantly, people buy you before the company actually. It's about relationship at the end of the day. So I think that helps a whole lot. It makes you narrow down to what you want to do. And what I do in most of the time is what they call easy target. You know, small businesses or pharmacies that you think are not might be too small. If you have a whole lot of them, you have to segment them in a group. they are easy target for you. You spend less time with them. Of course, the conversion maybe in terms of sales might be low, but you have a chunk of them. They help you in the long run in covering up. And of what they do, they give you a sense of fulfillment, and they in turn will also always refer you. I think that's all. That's what I do in terms of segmentation. I don't play with those small businesses, those retail businesses like Chine said. I have to sit down with them. Because if you're focusing on those only the big ones, the distributors, you are more or less just moving your product from one point to the other, from one warehouse to the other. However, if you do a lot of retail, which is difficult, I must confess, what you're doing is creating a word of mouth brand awareness for your product. It spreads easily. And I think that's where I will stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ade. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. Thank you. We have just about 18 minutes more for today. So I'll end with talking about the competitors. I'll end this session with talking about the competitors, and that's the fourth kind of analysis you should do within your territory, the competitor analysis. There's how do I put it? There's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to competitor analysis. I think we shared some of it when we're talking about Angel's territory specifically, what you need to look out for. But the most important thing I want us to talk about today is how are you different from your competitors? What is your unique selling point? What is your unique selling point? And that's where I want all of us to contribute. So, if, for instance, let me I don't want to put you all on the spot, but if I mention your name, you just, even if you cannot talk, just type it in the chat room. Mariam, I don't know if you've been on the field for a while. I know you cannot talk, but can you type it in the chat room? What's your unique selling point compared with your most or your highest buying competitor? Do you know it? Do you know what your unique selling point is? Angel, what's your unique selling point for one of the highest selling products in your territory? What's your unique selling point compared to that your competitors?
Effectiveness and test of our product.
What do you say?
Effectiveness and test of our product.
Did you say taste?
Yes.
Okay, that's
because
the
our highest selling product is test. Yeah, the highest selling product in the East is actually the cargo with vitamin C.
Okay.
And none in this territory tests like ours.
Beautiful.
And then, in fact, there's something our major competitor lately has been Immune Boost, and I discovered something about the product lately that we give our product a shelf life of 2 years.
Yeah.
And they give their product a shelf life of 3 years. So I discovered that 3 years is actually fake, because after 2 years, I've walked into some pharmacies and I discovered they're complaining that the products are already killing, like they become they congealed. Yeah. Okay. So I think I discovered another. So and there's nobody that tests our product. Even yesterday, because presently I'm doing product sampling, and some persons that have tested Immune Boost before, when they test my product, they say, "Wow, this is actually the best." So I'm not just saying it because it's my product. I'm saying it because customers are giving their feedback that it tastes nice. It's 1 gram vitamin C, 1 gram vitamin C. Well, the difference is in the test.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you so much. I want to, I don't know if any other person wants to talk, contribute. I want to give it as an assignment to everyone. We usually have a template that we use for this kind of analysis. If you want it, you can send me a mail. I'll share it with you. So for all of your products, you should be able to understand your unique selling proposition. For all of your products, for every single product of yours, especially one that has a competitor, a competitive brand, you need to be able to understand what your unique selling proposition is, because that is the first way in which the best way in which you can penetrate the market. Understanding your unique selling proposition, it's very important for you. So I think it's let me see. Is there any other person who wants to talk about it in terms of Linda is here. Linda, how are you? Talks has been quiet. Mariam, do you want to say something in the chat room? Okay, let me see.
I'm fine, ma. Good morning, ma.
Hi, good morning. It's good to hear your voice.
Thank you, ma.
Yeah, so no, you don't have to send me, just send me a mail. You don't have to drop your email address here. Send me a mail and I'll reply with the or I can send it in the I think I can send it in the WhatsApp group. So if you're in the WhatsApp, outline all your products, the competitive brand, and then your unique selling proposition. I will share with you in the chat room. Okay, so yeah, you want to share with us, please? It's good to hear a feminine voice, another feminine voice. Mariam, you wanted to share something with us? Okay, so Latubosun. Was it Latubosun that spoke earlier?
Okay. Hello.
Hey, hi. Good. Yeah, I want to hear.
So I was trying to type, but I think it's taking quite a lot of time from me. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
For me, because I'm into ethical sales, and I just moved from a company to another, to another one, and let me use my past experience, my past company. It's an indigenous company, and having to compete with multinationals. Okay, yeah. What we actually did as far our selling proposition was we were very active with demand generation, and this had to this brought about our having part of the market share by making use of some strategic plans, and that has to do with the product itself and the price. The price was like a factor that that moved us ahead of the multinationals and made us to have at least like 40 to 50% of the market share. So it was price for me because basically the products were having the same the same benefits. The products were presenting the same product to the same set of people, but the price actually helped, and the strategy for demand generation, which has to do with a very strong detailing skill. And aside from that, the human resource at that particular place, like we are very strategic with the kind of people we put on the team, like very strong detailers. So the price was our selling point because there was nothing different with other molecules too. I mean, rather from other molecules, rather.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I was waiting to hear more. Okay, thank you so much. So how I don't know if you've been able to in your new organization, what are the current challenges you're having? And I don't know if you've been able to help you out with any of them. Is it also in the pharma industry?
Yeah, it's also in the pharma industry. And I joined the company with basically all their products expiring 2 months too. And and the product had a lot of competitors, like a lot of other brands. And it was only through demand generation that we used to move about 40% of the products expiring in less than 8 weeks.
Wow, that's good. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Olatubosun wanted to share something. Olatubosun, you want to share something? Thank you so much, Tokes, for joining in. It says he's an IT professional in the pharma industry, and you roll out tools that help with segmentation, profiling, and targeting. Okay, thank you so much, Tubosun. Maybe you could share some of your tools with us on the platform. If you're in the WhatsApp group, yeah, it could be helpful. It might help, some of us to get ahead with it. So if eventually you decide to launch, please let us know about it. And then definitely we'll give you the audience to come speak to us about it. Thank you so much, Tokes. Olatuboso, you want to share something with us? Okay. I don't know if it's network or something. But I know that Olatuboso wanted to speak. So before we round up, because we're about rounding up, let me share with you two important things that you should look out for in the course of this month. First is the Farmer Sales Summit. It's the 4th edition of our Farmer Sales Summit. Someone should please give us a round of applause in the chat room. If you've been part of the summit before, you understand how it goes and all the things and everything that is put together to make this a success. So please give us a high five. Yeah, thank you so much, Kingsley. It's encouraging. Most of these people that come to speak are not being paid a dime, and most of them are actually industry experts. They've been in the industry for years, but they're just moved by their. Most of them are, in fact, none of them is being paid. Most of them are fully, working, and from their time, they actually come, agree to come around once or twice a year to share from their wealth of experience. So this summit this year is going to be at the end of the month. If you have not registered for the summit, please register. If you are, and then if you have registered and you have attended and you understand the benefits, please share. Because as much as possible, there's a limit to how many people I can actually reach. But if you become ambassadors for us, you become an ambassador of the Sales Summit, you also help other sales professionals to actually benefit from this. So if you need the flyers, if you need the promotional materials or the link to register, please just ask me. You can join the WhatsApp group. I'll be sharing a lot of that in the WhatsApp group, the flyers and things you can share on your platform, on other sales professional platforms to get people to register for the summit. This year's summit is about territory optimization. There's so much more you can learn about how to optimize your territory. And as much as possible, we have brought titans from specific target some specific regions to come and talk about their experience. You can see Isaac there, Godfrey. I'm sure you know Isaac. You can see Isaac Adupong. Isaac Adupong trained me 15 years ago. So you can see Isaac Adupong there. He's a Ghanaian, one of the strongholds of farmer sales in Ghana. You can also see Eugene. Eugene is currently Ivory Coast, I think. Yeah, Ivory Coast. So he's going to be bringing in, that aspect of the business to help us understand how business is done in that region. Jeff is going to be talking about the eastern region of Nigeria, and then you have Dikpo. Dikpo is going to be talking about Lagos, doing business in Lagos. He's a marketing person actually, so he'll be talking a lot about marketing and how it's done as a sales professional, how you should be conscious about what's happening in your territory. And then we have 2 country managers actually this year. Last year we had about 4 or 5 country managers. This year we have 2. We have MDs, and then we have Chinedu Igwe. Chinedu Igwe will be talking about how to do business in the East. Adeyo will be anchoring with me, and we have Osas. Osas is a sales director at SFH, former SFH. I think they've changed their name now. So these are powerful people that have come, that will be available during the summit to share from their wealth experience. So you cannot afford to miss any of the sessions. So please help us share this in your on your platforms, on your DPs, on your stories, and let people get involved. So those of us that are in Lagos, if you're in Lagos, we have a workshop for you on Saturday. The workshop is going to be a physical workshop where we will be analyzing Lagos territories in detail rather. So if you're going, it doesn't mean that the territories that we'll be analyzing in the summit is just Lagos territory, but if you are in Lagos, we have, I'll send it to the group. I will. Thank you so much, Adiri. If you're in Lagos, you would have access to the physical summit, and then you also have access to some of the facilitators who will be physically present at the summit. You have a workbook where you can actually do some of the exercises that we'll be doing during the summit. And then at the end of the day, you'll have an opportunity to network with other sales professionals and maybe get some insights that can help you take your business forward. It's going to be in Ikeja, and it's going to be 25,000 naira supposed to be from yesterday, but extending the early bird discount. So if you pay before I think the 10th or 11th, you can still pay 20,000 naira for the physical workshop. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging in. So next week, Isaac Adupong is coming to talk about territory planning in terms of allocating your sales targets and forecasting. And I don't think you should miss that session. We'll share the link to in the chat room on the WhatsApp group. So please, you can join the WhatsApp group. We also have a Telegram group if you prefer Telegram, and then we'll get you started. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying on. As usual, we say goodbyes in our local dialect. Kachifonu, Daluso. Thank you so much for. I've changed to English. So let's say goodbyes in our native dialects. In the chat room, I'm looking at some interesting so Odabo, Kachifonu, Daluno. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, have a good weekend. Have a great weekend. Yeah. Bye-bye. Daluno. Thank you, Kingsley. Dalu Dabo. Olatuboso Dabo. Odabo Adoye. Bye, everyone. Have a good